Jin slashed upwards with all his strength. Guard the fire dragon emperor. Boom. A giant fire dragon rolled and flew upwards, its power was terrifying. All of a sudden. No one expected this. After all, the current Rodan is a super existence that killed Kaido. Present. Who dares to go up? Bai Tuan wanted to stop it. However, the speed of this blow was too fast, they were distracted just now. It was too late. It's time to clean you up, too. Rodan twisted his neck. A battle with Kaido. It is impossible for him to have no loss. That last hit. Kaido's dying counterattack caused him to suffer serious injuries. It is more than enough to kill these little guys. Boom. He punches out. Forcibly smashed the fire dragon. Just as he was about to move, a familiar laughter sounded. Ma 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 ma. Boom, there was a loud bang. Big Mon jumped to the Queen's mother singing, still touching Thundercloud Zeus in his hand. Rodan. She was about to say something. But when he found the head not far away, his face changed drastically. You killed Kaido? My sweet little brother. Ah. There was a strange sound. Into a substantial attack spread towards the surroundings. Now. The members of the three emperors covered their ears tightly, feeling unbearable. Kaido and Big Mon. It used to be from the Rock's pirate, even this fish fruit. All from her to Kaido. Although they parted ways later, there was constant friction and verbal killing of each other. From the outside, the relationship looks bad. But real relationships, only two people know. Top. Even if that guy is killed, I have to kill him. What are you? Big Mon is crazy. Regardless. Raised Napoleon with both hands to fight again. See here. Everyone became tense. Is there going to be another war? Zzz the arc diffused. Shine Rodan like a god. If you want to fight, of course you can accompany me. Actually, after killing a Kaido, he no longer treats me as a Big Mon, but the momentum can't be weak, can it? Call out. Big. Mojin jumped up, and Napoleon raised it high. Waiguo. Shoot, after a golden cry. Rolling sword waves scattered out. Surprisingly, her Napoleon isn't quite down yet. Then he was blocked by a cold western sword, and the figure. Not like Rodan either. Boom. Waiguo was split. At last, it was two swords colliding together. The huge gust of wind pushed away the ships, making people feel trembling. Boom. Big Mon fell back to the main ship. Like. The monstrous anger was blocked. Redhead. Shanks. Do you want to join in too? As soon as this statement came out, everyone's eyes moved. Rodan. There was no movement above, and no shot was made. Below its side, there is a strange big ship, and a man with short red hair stands on the bow. Behind him, and a mighty hockey cadre and crew. Some gnaw chicken legs, some hold sniper rifles, and some hold long swords. The momentum is full. Yes, it's the ship, Red Force. Redhead, it's the four emperors Redhead. Why is he here? Now. 4 emperors, no, 2 of the 5 emperors died, and there are 3 left. What is he here for? People from 100 Beasts and Big Mon pirates see this. There is a bad feeling. Only the white group. Although now the battlefield has joined a 4 emperors pirate group. But they, instead, not very nervous, in contrast. The hearts of Kaido's remnant party and the Big Mon pirate group can be said to be pulled to the extreme. A Rodan is enough. Now, another redhead? Call. A breeze blew by. Now, look at the audience. Black smoke filled the air. The broken ship, Kaido's rotten head, and the corpses of many pirates. The horrors of the war are all told. As for the members of the 3 emperors, their losses have been incalculable. Even Big Mon. Not in good condition, very hungry in the stomach. If it wasn't for Rodan who didn't solve it, she would have gone to have snacks and cakes. Everyone are waiting for him. Now. On the bow. The redhead raised his leg and took a step forward. Clear voice. Immediately resounded all over the battlefield. If the fight continues like this, it will only increase the losses of the 2 armies infinitely. Shanks drew the famous sword, Griffin. If it's still. He paused. At this moment, a white light that reaches the sky enveloped him. It's so dazzling. This light seems somewhat familiar. It's from the redhead. What the hell are they trying to do? This is the situation. It's like a light show under the screen. Let people recall. The highlight moment when Sengoku stood on the execution platform. Could it be? Captain of the 6th Division. Bramink, a user with baggy fruit ability, blocked the light with his hand. Somewhat incredulously, he glanced at Rodan above. The rest. This is also true. This man. Have you activated that weird ability again? Target. Could it be? Cough cough. Feeling the strange eyes from everyone in the white group, Rodan coughed. Pretend not to know. Now. On Red Force. As the cadres and crew members who are closest to the red hair, their eyes are also the most stinging. Where does the light come from? It's so dazzling. Is it on the boss? I don't remember that the boss has a similar ability. Did someone sneak attack? Something's wrong. The boss's aura is gradually disappearing. I gonna go see. The cadres frowned. He also tacitly blocked the light with his hands. Ben Beckman had a serious face and squinted his eyes. Stepped forward quickly. But, when approaching, the light suddenly shrank again, and quickly disappeared into the air. As if nothing ever happened, and in situ. Then there was a man wearing a long black cloak and cropped pants with brown patterns printed on it. People in flip-flops, judging from the figure and clothing. Skim off that graceful figure and slightly long hair. At least 9 points like Shanks, another obvious difference. That is, the griffin that was drawn out from the original books is now on the waist. And, he also wears a familiar straw hat on his head. Beckman froze. Pace. It also stopped 1 meter away from her. Yo. What's the matter? A fresh and pleasant female voice sounded softly. A breeze blew past everyone's ears. Yasop shuddered. This is the boss? Lackey Lou couldn't hold on to his big drumstick and fell directly onto the deck. This lady's voice. It's him. Did you hear me wrong? But this imitation is also a bit like it. You were in the tavern just now. Why did you get on the boat? Did you get drunk again? Now. She put her hands on her hips. Looking around, I saw a group of unfamiliar and familiar faces. In doubt. Some are confused. There are so many. Men. Hey, why don't you talk? She turned slightly. Just in time to meet Beckman's glazed eyes. Who are you? You bastard. Beckman took a few steps back subconsciously, and hit the railing with a bang. No wonder he made such a big move, because the contrast with the captain just now is too great. The woman in front of me. White teeth, red lips, red hair with a shawl. The appearance is beautiful and moving, even in New World. This kind of appearance is enough to rank in the first and second echelons, not inferior to some beautiful female pirates. This. Forget it. The key is also wearing a white shirt of the same style as the captain. The buttons were still the same as the captain's, with 2 loose at the top. Lead to. Oh me? I'm Shanks. Shanks smiled. Has a lively temperament. Sir, you look familiar. Why did you suddenly appear on my boat? Could it be? Are you Beckman's brother? Shanks rubbed her smooth and white chin with her fingertips, then turned her head to look behind her. This look. Even she was stunned. These men? I'm afraid they all changed into the clothes of her female cadres? Whatever. But what was even more shocking than her was the cadres of the red-haired regiment. Is the boss? Fool. When did we have such a beautiful boss? No, you were still here just now. Ma'am, what is your relationship with our Captain Shanks? Sister. Lagilu with a big belly felt hot in his nose, and quickly covered his nose with his hands. For a while. Around him, there was a dense swallowing sound. Present. Which one is not the old man? Now there is such a beautiful woman in the captain's trousers. It's really unbearable, you guys. Shanks Joan frowned slightly. Something was wrong. The eyes of these men. She had only seen it through the eyes of female pirates in the past. So, could these men be so wolfish? Even a big woman like her. Wrong. The point is not this. The group of people in front of her are not only dressed the same as her cadres. Even breath. Not bad at all, in the end. What's going on? Rodan. Suddenly. Vice Captain Beckman seemed to think of something, looked at the man in the sky. Really? That's a look of gloating, actually. Rodan wasn't gloating. Rewards for the fragments after this girly replacement. Just some surprises. 4.5 character fragments *3, 3/10, special fruit fragments *2, 2/10. This time. Got both. Special fruit fragments, although I don't know what special fruit it is. But the system gives. Probably not going anywhere. Captain Rodan, did you do something good? Beckman on the boat said in a low voice. After the initial surprise, the rest of the cadres forced themselves to recover from the captain. Look up. Also a serious look. But there are still many cadres who look at Shanks from time to time. If this matter is not dealt with, good guy. Banquet. Is it about having a drink with a female captain? Hugging and hugging. This can be wonderful. When Shanks first saw the men looking at her, she looked a little unscrupulous and weird. It's a little chilly. After she set her sights on the woman of the Big Mon pirate group. The same is true for Discovery. He was keenly aware of a problem. How to feel yourself. Rather out of place. No, did I read it wrong? What happened? A light? Then. 4 emperors turned into women with red hair? Ridiculous, so ridiculous. Hey, do you remember Ace and Sengoku? You mean. But who saw him make a move? 100 beasts and Big Mon pirates. At this time, it was a look of bewilderment. They hadn't seen Sabaodi's live broadcast, only received sporadic newspaper telegrams, knowing the shocking news of Whitebeard's death. The remaining. Only high-level people understand the details. But. By Tuan's words, it was vivid and present in person. Regarding Shank's impressive changes, they had vague guesses in their hearts. It's just not clear. Rodan. What is the point of doing this? Ace aside. Sissy Sengoku refers to the past, which can be interpreted as weakening Marine's combat power. But the words of the redhead, it should be that there is no malice, and it is also the appearance of persuading a fight. This. There is no more reason. Why make a move on it? Is it a simple prank? No, the strong will not be so boring. There must be a purpose, it's just that they didn't realize it. Just when the people in Baituan couldn't figure it out. Shanks, who listened to the discussion, frowned frivolously. Not much to say. A pair of peach blossom eyes looked at Rodan above. To say that the rest are somewhat familiar, then this person. It's a complete stranger. Beauty 4 emperors, staring at me so straightly, is it because they are interested in me? Rodan laughed and joked. Then he looked at the red-haired deputy Captain Beckman. By the way, I did it. But. So what if it's a woman? She is still your captain. Don't you want to admit it if you change your gender? As soon as this statement came out, the face of the red-haired group changed suddenly. This man. It's an admission in disguise. How dare you? Is it going to open war? Captain Rodan, attack our captain. Do you want to make everyone an enemy? Beckman's pistol. There was a flash of light. The rest of the redheads, also ready to fight at any time. Turn our captain back. Ha ha ha, of course. Rodan laughed. Then he pointed in the direction of Big Mon. As long as you hold back the Big Mon pirates, everything can be discussed. It's all sunset. It's getting late, and I'm afraid something will happen if we delay. It's time for him to go to Marineford and end this fight once and for all. Hold on? Where do you want to go, and continue to fight? Beckman frowned. Shanks listened quietly. At the same time, also watching something. Her previous location was Windmill in East Blue. But this sea area. Not East Blue. It's not that I want to continue, but. The Marine and world government won't let it go. Rodan smiled slightly. Okay, stop them for me. After all, you don't want to face a female captain all the time. If I'm right, she's the only woman on your ship, right? Speaking of which. If word spreads, the dignified 4 emperors with red hair is actually a woman. Such headlines. I think it should be very explosive. That's it. You red hair pirates, the talk of the world from now on. Say it. You. What else did Beckman want to say? But Rodan has turned into an electric arc and disappeared into the air. Then leave it to you. If you can't wait, or have other thoughts, you should weigh the consequences yourself. The tail sound slowly disappeared. Damn it. Beckman slammed his fist against the railing. Disappeared. What kind of ability is this? Shanks froze for a moment, seeing that Beckman's expression was not good. Grinning, he leaned closer. Hey, brother, tell me what happened. The fragrant wind is coming. Beckman got goosebumps, and moved to the side involuntarily. You. Stay away from me. Boss. Have you really become a woman? Gahahaha. Is this also a fruit ability? I think it's magic. What nonsense, ahem boss. Can you tell me what it's like to be a woman? Red-haired cadres suddenly winked. You guys. Shanks subconsciously said to the sisters. What has changed? I was originally a woman, by the way. How did you become a man? And. Aren't we in Windmill Town? Where is this place? A gust of wind blew by. Red hair floats in the air. She pressed the straw hat tight. Put on a look that stunned all the cadres. Then boss, tell me how you feel as a woman. Speaking of which, boss, didn't you give that straw hat to Luffy? Why did you come back again? Windmill Town? Everyone thought the boss was pretending to be calm. After all, a sea emperor turned into a woman. It is indeed something that makes people a little unspeakable. Boss. I'm pretending, so they made fun of it. That is, it always feels a little strange. If they knew the real boss, they would have already been transferred to a strange world, probably. It won't be so calm. both sides at the moment. As if chatting across channels, not only the beasts and bigman pirates who were listening were stunned. Even the white group. I was also taken aback for a while. Red group of people. Shouldn't you be panicking and trying to figure out a way? How? Still laughing. Ma, red hair pirates. How ugly. Big Mon said. His face became gloomy, and he pointed back at Marineford. My children, it's not far away. Rodan. Must die today. Go ahead, language fall. The children dare not disobey. The Queen Mother sailed immediately. But the redhead boat, but blocked no action. Hey, ugly. We can't pretend we didn't hear what you said just now. If you want to pass, you have to pass our level first. Big Mon, your battle damage is not small. Redheads. At this time, they are all in a posture of not letting go. Just kidding. Rodan's words, they could hear it clearly. And Beckman even raised his pistol and pointed it at the Big Mon's head. Although I really don't want to be robbed by others, but for this guy. He glanced at the redhead, seeing her smile heartily. Heartbeat suddenly accelerated. Hastily turned his head back. Damn. Why didn't I find Shanks so attractive before? As this. Big Fithet? Shanks restrained his smile. I thought about it. Feel more and more. People and things around are a little abnormal. So. Is this a strange dream? Yes, she doubted. This is simply a dream. Or rather. Being pulled into an extremely realistic dream by a person with fruit ability. How dare you stand in my way? What do you bastard call me? Fithet. Big Mon was furious, stretched out one hand and said, Napoleon, Prometheus. Here comes Mom. 2 guys, equipped to her. And Zeus. But he was pinched tightly in the hands of Big Mon, looking like he was dying. Like. After a while of beatings, Parallel World 13. Windmill Town. In a tavern, a group of disheveled women sat on chairs in indecent postures, drunk. Looking dizzy. At this time, suddenly a white light flashed. The female cadres and crew immediately woke up. There is a situation. Wait, that's where the boss is, right? What happened? Did the enemy attack? The female cadres of the red-haired group woke up instantly. Even. The boss, Magino, who was wearing an apron, ran over quickly. But too bright a light, he had to stop again. Soon. It died down. I saw. A red-haired woman sitting in front of the bar suddenly turned into a red-haired man with a broken arm. The remaining. Nothing has changed around. Here it is. The redhead frowned. Tavern? But looking at the environment of this house, how could it be a little familiar? He turned his head. He looked at each other with a group of female cadres. Pause time. Everyone in the tavern looked at each other 3 times. The red-haired was a little messy inside, and subconsciously turned his head away. These women. Is it all so random? Boom. The door was suddenly pushed open. A cute little girl ran in. Shanks. You are here. The little girl looked happy. Then 1 step becomes 2 steps. When everyone was stunned, they quickly ran to the red hair. She stared blankly at the redhead. Seems to feel. Something is wrong? The redhead saw it too. This kid. Don't say it. The long one is really like when Luffy was a child. Shanks. Lu Fei pointed at the red-haired trousers, and suddenly yelled, You. Why do you hide a banana inside? HMPH. Don't you want me to steal it? She folded her arms around her chest. Pretending to be angry, the red-haired face is embarrassed. He suddenly smiled and wanted to touch the little girl's head. Luffy, come here, unexpectedly. Beckman on the side pulled her over, looked straight at the red hair with slender eyelashes, and said very seriously, Who are you? The redhead looked her over. He still wants to ask back. Miss, can you tell me where this is? As you can see, the tavern in Windmill Town. Windmill Town. Rao is the red hair who has seen the wind and waves. I can't stand it. Looking around. These people made him feel a little weird. A bad guess appeared in my heart. Shouldn't. Is that guy Rodan doing it? No, gotta go outside first. So far. The redhead walked out. Pata. The sound of flintlock guns fluttered. Beckman was not polite, and pointed at him sideways. Hey, where are you going? The man in front of him. If it is not the same as the breath of the captain. She has already started. Oh? It's been a long time since anyone dared to point a gun at me. The redhead smiled sassily. Hey, little brother, our deputy captain is asking you something. Don't change the subject. It's just. If you know what's going on, why don't you tell me quickly? Hey, look, not only does he have the same clothes as the captain, but he even has a knife. His sleeves feel empty. The cadres all stood up. blocked the door. But when he saw the red-haired face, he became a little surprised and uncertain. It seems that guy messed up. The redhead pulled back his smile. Immediately afterwards, a thrilling hockey burst forth. In control, avoiding Luffy and Machino, and oppressing the entire tavern. The weird thing is, except for some female pirates who fainted, most of the cadres, no shit, but his eyes were lowered. This conqueror's hockey, main world, the first half of the Grand Line. Sabodi Land. Not only did the audience not leave the venue because the screen was turned off, but they became even more agitated. In particular, it was discovered that Marine had moved his hands and feet, deliberately not letting everyone see it. Immediately the crowd was excited. Let go. After waiting for so long, is it still not good? What shame do you Marine have? Are you afraid of losing the war? Could it be? Afraid that the next scene will be too bloody, so we won't let us see it? Hey, this is also related to our safety. That is. But it shouldn't be. Marine has such a luxurious lineup this time, there is really no reason to lose. Yeah, even Whitebeard is dead. The cacophony of islanders and spectators from all over the world. Densely packed. Submerged wave after wave. The Marines dispatched a large number of troops to control the scene, and they were really helpless. I saw someone even touching the signal receiver. Seems to be very knowledgeable. They are even more of a headache. Don't they Marine feel uneasy and don't want to know the result at the first time? But is there any way? Just wait, if you watch live. It will only aggravate and accelerate the panic of people all over the world. This is a battle to establish the future world pattern. It's okay for the Marine side to win, even if it is a tie. All good endings, but lost. The turmoil that caused was not for words. The 5 admirals joined forces, and Sengoku and Vice Admiral Garp were there. And finally Marshal Kong showed up, right? A healthy Marine. He chatted softly with his colleagues, with such combat power, it should be. Pray. The sky is about to change. There are more and more pirates every year. And the Revolutionary Army is watching. Even if it is a win, the loss is too big, the bottom of them. You only have the right to worry. Holy Land Marie joys. The 5 elders were all a little uneasy. It's empty, and so many armaments have been lost. Hasn't the battle situation been settled? Who would have thought that for the death of a Whitebeard, a replacement? The direction of the war is out of control. Akainu and the Green Bull were all killed, and the Rodan pirates haven't died yet, so what should we do? Although you can't leave the Holy Land, you can use that. You mean? The old man with long white beard raised his eyebrows. It's not far from Marineford. It's too late, but they're still there. It's nothing. Let them retreat immediately. Since you can't control it, then use it. Let it go. After all, let it go. It's better to completely eradicate the Rodan pirates. The other 4 fell silent. That thing. It needs the consent of the 5 of them, and finally ask the adult for instructions. Can be used. Is there a better way now? The old man with a fluffy beard leaned on a short crutch, and suddenly got up and said, then split up, and I will ask Lord IM for instructions. Yeah. I'll contact Sora. The eyes of several people. A little tired at first glance, but deep down. But it exudes a dangerous light. Marineford. The originally indestructible island had already become dilapidated at this moment. Squares, office areas, residential areas, it was all in ruins. Not only was the ground cracked and water overflowed, but the sky was also torn into gaps. Even the waves. They are frantically flapping and rolling up non-stop. The intensity is outrageous. The explosion sounded. Kong was shot down to the bottom of the ocean, his chest heaving. Just wanted to catch my breath, but there was water all around. I had no choice but to close my mouth and nose tightly and hold back for the time being. Old. He sighed inwardly. Confrontation with Bai Hu Niang. Let him become more and more powerless. Blue blue. Blue blue. At this time, there was the sound of a phone bug in the jacket. No Lulu. Cough cough. The phone bug yelled a few times, and after a large ball of foam came out. Then closed the corners of its lips. Obviously underwater. It does not have the conditions for talking, and it will choke on water. Phone bug. It's aquatic. This is. Kong found out that it was the special phone bug queen on his body. He looked serious. He knows. This is a call from the 5 elders. And the 5 elders. If it's not something very important, you won't call at all. So. Kong kicked his legs. In the azure seawater, Yi Ran stepped out of layers of water circles. Wow. A splash of water. Like a sea mine, it shot up quickly. In an instant. Then he broke through the sea and galloped to the sky, 10 phone bugs with dying and 10 troubled appearances. It also gradually recovered. Empty. Retreat. Activate the backup plan. Do you want to use that one? Yeah. I'll give you some time to escape. Then, try to entrust the Rodan regiment inside. What? Back to language fall. The phone bug closed his eyes. It seems that he deliberately didn't give Kong a chance to reply. Do you want to use that one? Kong narrowed his eyes. Can they ran away? Couldn't the Rodan regiment run away? Hey, Commander-in-Chief of the whole army, you still have the heart to answer the phone. The frivolous voice suddenly sounded. Kong only had time to raise his single arm, and after barely blocking it, he slammed into a group of ruins. Huh. Boom, the wind rang. A golden explosion shone below. On it. It was Peluzalino in a kicking pose. Now. When the rest of the people saw this, their eyelids jumped wildly. Where's that Kizaru guy? How come can't even hold back personally? Call out. The light of the cross gathers. Then Kizaru appeared and split her with his sword. At the same time, made a helpless action. In terms of speed, the old man has no advantage over her. At the same time, the explosion damaged below. A white shadow leapt out and stood on a fairly complete piece of scorched ground. He gasped. His forehead was covered with sweat. The justice behind it has made a few big holes. Even pants and shoes, they all suck, looking very embarrassed. If you ignore the strong muscles, it looks like an old man begging on the street. Nobody would have guessed. This would be the commander-in-chief of the world government. It also proves the tragic nature of the war. Several other Marines. In addition to elementalization, it avoids the damage of clothes. Not much better. Phew. Kong put one hand on the ground. Successive battles. Let him gradually become powerless. In terms of combat power, not much down though. But the rapid decline in physical strength is inevitable. This is an old bone that is almost 100 years old. It's not stiff anymore. Other people, although better than him, but are somewhat reluctant. Going on. Was a waste of time indeed. All, retreat. He picked up a trumpet-shaped megaphone and made the difficult decision. As soon as this statement came out, the fastest responder is Kizaru Admiral. The lips are not raised much, but you can still see the joyful look of relief. Immediately afterwards, it's Aokiji, Fujitora, Sengoku, Garp who are still fighting to the death. Each of them took action, actually. The righteous belief in annihilating pirates and avenging his colleagues. Because the opponent is too powerful, already shaken. The strength of the Rodan regiment, it's already unstoppable. At least not with the current strength of personnel. Next. Only give what you can handle. Gu la la la, I want to leave, did you ask me? White Hu Niang let out a laugh. Cut out with a knife. The invisible wave is released. Crack. Spread along the void towards the front. Silala, the retreating people stumbled and fell from the air. And Sakaski et al., he didn't let go of this opportunity. All the attacks from the mountains and tsunami fell forward. Lava punch. Gravity knife tiger. Fujitora adjusts his figure. Turn around and quickly slash horizontally. Pause time. All the gravity accumulated on the sword is released. Boom. The sound of gas explosions resounded one after another. Finally, a series of attacks with magma and so on produced a roar. Finally, Gravity Knife's attack is still invincible. After being heavily defeated, lava, cut the waves. Silver thread. Shock. These attacks were mixed together, and all of them bombarded Fujitora and others. Ah la la, it looks like it's not that easy to go. Aokiji let out a breath of cold air, turned around. Unexpectedly, someone stopped him first. Old man, come and block. You boys go first. Vice Admiral Garp, if you're the only one. Boy, you should know that something is coming, right? If you don't leave now, do you want to be buried with the old man? Garp, whose forehead was bleeding, grinned. Let this old man carry out the justice in his heart to the end. He raised his right fist high, and his muscles suddenly bulged. Leap forward. In the surging wave of distorted energy. Hit with all your might. Fist bones. Vaguely, he saw Bai Hunang's faint smile. Garp recalled the past. Roger, Golden Lion. Whitebeard. All of them are old opponents. You guys, wouldn't it be nice to quietly become legends? That tattered cloak of justice rattled for the last time. Vice Admiral Garp. Go, don't let that guy down. Aokiji looked directly at Garp's back. Seeing that he didn't move, Kong grabbed him and pulled him away forcefully. Marine. There can be no more losses, but a few people have not gone far. A burst of golden light flickered again. Impressively, Pelusalino blocked in front of several people. What are you hiding in such a hurry to leave? Pelusalino held his right hand falsely, and pulled out a slender lightsaber from his left. It was evenly matched a second ago. Next second. Withdrew in such a haste. He also took the initiative to let himself fall into a downward trend, and a fool can see that there is a conspiracy. Backquote. That Garp guy is staying and breaking the line, so I can't help but express it. She once again turned into the Golden Lady Buddha. One palm strike away. Although it's the first time I've met you. But I think what you hold in your heart may be different, but they are all the same. In the wind, she smiled at the people behind her. Boom. Light shrouded here. Sengoku? With that Sengoku guy. Kong clenches his fist. There is not so much parting of life and death, pushing and shoving. He is the commander-in-chief. Must be decisive. Time is running out. Let's go. Call. Several pieces of rubble dragged Fujitora Aokiji Kong up. A wink. It disappeared into the sight of Glass Salino. In the end, Marineford was evacuated. Call out. In the sky miles away, Kizaru is condensed. He took a hand out of his pocket and scratched his head. Is the old man running too fast? Now. The moment Kong waited for Marine to leave. Submarines circled the broken islands and floated up from the bottom of the sea. Didn't White Hu Niang destroy them all before? No, this is a submarine that has been hiding in the seabed and has never shown up. The light of the hull is the color. All totally different. Squeak. A dull mechanical sound sounded. One by one, the muzzles were aimed at the broken Marineford. Cold. And ruthless. Shish. There were bursts of sharp sounds like monkeys flying in the sky. Almost no buffering. The gun barrel directly shot out groups of lavender things. Look around. Like a flock of passing geese. There are at least thousands of hairs densely packed, so many make the scalp numb. The speed is fast. It also leaves no reaction time at all. Island. The fairy stone blasted out with a palm. Light particles spread out. But it didn't even touch a shadow. Instead, behind her, a heavy kick landed hard, catching Xianxi by surprise. Call. Xianxi stepped on the moonwalk, panting heavily. If I'm not mistaken, you, like me, don't belong to this world, do you? No, from the moment I met the young master, that's it. Little lord? Xianxi was puzzled, but the next second, the dense lavender light shrouded the sky, interrupted her train of thought. Dynamite rock? Her expression changed. But then, recovered again. Dynamite rock. It is a destructive weapon comparable to ancient weapon. Possesses extremely high lethality, under the strict control of the world government. Extremely confidential and not leaked, in her world. I also learned about it when I was promoted to admiral. Did not expect. Is there one here too? So you are going to use this? The corner of Pelusalino's mouth curled up, obviously recognizing it. Unfortunately, it's useless at my speed. You're fast. But not everyone is as fast as you. Xianxi shook his head. Under such a range, can the others hide? Under such dense. Even if it is the top combat power, it is difficult to escape. Not to mention today's equivalent. Blow up the island. It's so easy. Of course I know. Pelusalino brushed her short hair. As long as the young master is not around, everything else doesn't matter. In her eyes, Rodan. That's the most important thing. The other side. Baki, Dover, Sakaski and others stood on a rock. Garp was nowhere to be seen. Air, filled with lavender. Walk? Are you trying to hit the muzzle, Red Nose? Bastard, who are you scolding? We went under the sea. That's too late. Sakaski narrowed her eyes slightly. Now. Dynamite rock seems to have used some special method, without hitting anything. It broke apart by itself, after contact with air. A series of ultimate explosions were quickly created in the air. Ultimate heat and fire. Turning into hideous mouths of blood, they devoured towards the island. Call out. Rodan was just getting close. It was pushed by the strong waves and flew hundreds of meters away. And the submarine. Although it dived into the sea for the first time, it was also greatly affected. It's just aftermath. It is hard to imagine the despair and destruction faced by the people in the center of the island. How terrible. How come? A sweltering heat wave hit. Rodan held his hands against his chest, and spat out a few words with difficulty. I'm late. Now. Thousands of meters away. Target locked. Do you want to launch now? The cold voice sounded. Around. Is a whole body dark. A super metal battleship full of high-tech gold. It watched Marineford silently. Square muzzle. Terrifying energy fluctuations are being condensed. Aboard a submarine in the rear. There were two men in white suits and strange masks. One of them turned his head. Open your mouth lightly. Confirm. Receive. The cold mechanical sound fell. In an instant, the energy waves converged to ultimate and blasted out at once. ZZ, boom, the super warship suddenly pressed down on the sea. Recoil. Let a wall of seawater splash all around. Immediately afterwards, a giant beam of light with a width of 15 meters blasted forward with great precision. Seawater is easily evaporated along the way. Under such might, all obstacles will be crushed. Shine. Immediately illuminates everything. Even the eyes of the four emperors group fighting in the distance were attracted. What a terrifying power. No, I'm not mistaken, is that the direction of Marineford? That's right. Where did this come from? Could it be the government's secret weapon, but aren't they afraid that the Marine Admiral inside won't escape? Crazy. The world government must be crazy. Don't worry, Whitebeard and Rodan. So they still have such a big killer? Could it be ancient weapon? Ha ha ha. It would be better if the Marine and Rodan regiments were all killed inside, that would be beautiful. This light is really dazzling. This is. How many times have we been blindfolded? After seeing this dazzling light, the chaotic battlefield stopped for a while. The main thing is not to stop. Previously. First. It was the terrifying Lei Ying. Those who dodge can't open their eyes, after that is, Bahai. Count the thunderstorms not too long ago. Everyone has experience. Once glare. There's bound to be a lot of havoc somewhere. The scope is huge. Just in case. Will it involve them? So what's the point of killing? Also want to see. How destructive is this beam of light, which is far superior to what was artificially emitted before. For a while. Complex emotions such as apprehension, anticipation, anxiety, and worry rise up from the four imperial regiments. Wait, did that man just pass by? Destination. Isn't it the direction of the beam of light? The voice just fell. The beam of light seemed to hit something outside the island, and exploded directly. Even if it sweeps the aftermath around. All created a terrifying power. Down to the surface. Up to easily tear the reddish sky in two. Boom, one an earth-shattering sound erupted. Seconds ago. Rodan, who was resisting the sea of explosives and rockfire, suddenly became alert with his knowledge. He could feel it not far away. There is an indescribable energy brewing. But he cannot retreat. Why? Because behind him, there are people who walked along the way. The breath inside has not disappeared, that's it. Not dead yet, if you rush out of the way now. Waiting for their. Boom, now. Daylight came. The calculations made by the world government are really accurate. Rodan sighed inwardly, in 0.1 second. The last strength of the whole body broke out, and the 300 million volt Thor state was activated. Turn around, unleash all thunder energy and armed color. Slap it with all your strength. 300 million volts Thor shock. Z. Who? Purple-black light waves flickered away. Collided with a black beam of light 100 meters away. A lot of light and heat burst forth, only blocked for a few seconds. The Chang Lei and Hockey released from his palm quickly consumed. And deal with the black light, it also moved on unswervingly. Can't stop. It is only a matter of time before it is crushed. Little Lord. A flash lights up. Next to Rodan was a woman in a white and yellow suit. Holding a Tien Kongyun sword, in both hands, he smiled knowingly. Countless golden light spots gushed out from his body. The light spot merged into the cloud sword. Give it a hard toss. It turned into dozens of lightsabers, surrounding Rodan's shockwave. Just a wink. Then he pierced into the terrifying black pillar in front of him. Myriad swords all unleashed. Language fall. Light dots into the sword. Assisting the purple thunder to disintegrate the black wave ahead. In the joint attack of the two of them with all their strength. The golden light is accompanied by purple light. For the time being, we are in a stalemate with this black wave. Things are slowing down. But Rodan's physical strength has gradually become unsupported. After all, before. There have been several battles with Big Mom and Kaido one after another. Can hold on until now. That every minute. They are all squeezing the last physical strength with high intensity. But if it really backfires, can't stop the black wave. Rodan would just stupidly let it run over him. In the end, together with the island behind him, they were buried in the world together. You can watch and hide. After all it can move at lightning speed. Speed. Equivalent to the speed of light. Can evacuate in time at any time, it's just not reconciled until the end. Paluzolino at the side. The red lips that shone under the light beam moved, but they still didn't say anything after all. although she wanted to persuade the young master to leave. But the companion's breath has not dissipated. If leave, let this black wave completely sweep away, releasing all the energy. The people inside must have died. She didn't want to leave a bad image of abandoning her companions and running away without authorization in front of the young master. As for danger, not too scared, she and the young master can rely on elementalization to leave the battlefield instantly. You can say that world, basically nothing can threaten them. Thunder and light, it is the fastest speed in the world. Read this. Pelusalino smiled involuntarily. Rodin's lips grew paler, glanced at her. I don't know what this guy is laughing at. Young master, look at you. Pelusalino suddenly stretched out a smooth index finger. Through the thunderbolt, slipped over his lips. With distressed eyes in his soft eyes, he said, if it's really impossible, don't hold on, I will hold on. To buy time for them. Pity. Her voice was in the noise of energy release. Not at all. Be serious, die. Rodin was speechless. At this time, Hybo paused slightly. As if increasing the power, it suddenly grew stronger. Overwhelmed the joint attack of the two, coming on a rampage. Can't stop. Rodin held his arms parallel. At this time, it is 90 degrees outward to the elbow, and it is bent to both sides a little bit. This is caused by too much pressure on the palms. His arm. Be bent. The black wave kept advancing. 100 meters, 60 meters, 30 meters. The distance is getting closer. The two of them could feel the more terrifying energy emanating from. For a while, it seems that the sky is full of black light. At last, Rodin gritted his teeth, when I was about to say something. The wall of flames behind him suddenly split into half. A strong figure, jumping out with a naginata in hand. She slashed forward suddenly, and a dry white ball burst out from the tip of the knife. Straight into the black light. Forcibly stopped its high-speed travel. Call, immediately afterwards, in the cracked firewall. A huge flying boat, the outer layer is covered with fine silk threads. And the thick grid breaks out again, on it. It is Mihoko, Sakaski, Dover and others, they save the day. So close. Rodin naturally sensed it, and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. These people. They are all summoned by themselves. If all of them were killed, he really didn't know how to accept it. Above. Captain, we also. Don't come down. And you, Bai Hu Niang, get out of here directly. Rodin opened the silent space. Covered the noise of the outside world, and communicated clearly. Only if you leave, it will be easier for me and the young master to get away. Pelusalino turned her head and said, there is no need to defeat it. If you use too much force, it will explode directly. Then it will be cold. Several people nodded upon hearing this. Bai Huniang didn't say much, and jumped onto the ark directly. Estimate. Even Marine and World Government didn't expect it. Blocked by Xianxi and Garp, and surrounded by the terror of Dynamite Rock. They don't just come out, he even left safely in the ark. Actually. But relying on the defense system of the ark cannot be separated. But children are capable. When the power of several people gathers together, it will produce a qualitative change. Just when Mihoko and others left the range, both Rodin and Pelusalino let out a long sigh of relief, when the black wave was about to approach. The figure disappeared in an instant. Hybo rushed directly into the wall of fire made of explosive rocks without stopping him. Suddenly burst out all the energy, boom. Pause time. The former Marineford Islands are within a few kilometers of the United Islands. All evaporated. Far away. After releasing the energy wave, the dark battleship seemed to have exhausted its efforts, and its hull fell apart. After a while, the hull turned into pieces. It landed on the undulating sea and gradually sank. The power of one country, even if it can't reach the full body of Pluton, it is infinitely close. That's right. In front of such a destructive weapon, all abilities are nothing. Let's go. The Rodin pirates will not exist from now on. On the submarine headed from the rear, the two white-clothed CPOS smiled slightly and were about to get in and out of the submarine. There was a pause. A smile also froze on his face. You two, can you tell me, please, what is the one country you are talking about? Language fall. A huge pressure enveloped it, making it difficult for people to move at all. Walk them. Facing this terrifying man who had shaken the 2-4 emperors, he had no intention of resisting at all. Peeved, but with the sound of hissing, they had just run 2 steps. Then it was wrapped in a sudden scarlet liquid. The body is in pain. At the same time, breath of life. It is also disappearing fast. Explain. Rodan was expressionless. The poisonous dragon on his body is waiting for his opportunity. The two gritted their teeth, cold sweat dripping from their foreheads. Rodan. You're not dead yet. HMPH, even if he doesn't die. His crew will definitely not be able to survive. Besides, just this little pain, it's just. The voice did not fall. The pain was more unbearable than giving birth. It made his face contort together, rolled over. This small is a CPO, he has withstood countless cruel tests. Some couldn't hold on anymore. The essential. Still can't die. Half an hour. Wandering in the torment, they jumped back and forth before the gate of hell. Finally begged for mercy. Death, can you let us die quickly? Another CPO. The hands with bulging veins, and the torn pants. Dozens of paw prints were scratched bloody. One country is a blueprint made by Vegapunk imitating ancient weapon Pluton. It is so powerful. It can destroy small and medium-sized islands with one shot. And the reason why it is called a country is because the cost of one shot is equivalent to exhausting the treasure of a country. This is top secret. But now, can't handle that much anymore. Do you have any more like this? Us? Don't be an idiot. Forget it, I'm not interested in knowing. Rodan shook his head. This stuff. Impossible to mass produce. This time is under his precautions, and he wants to hit himself next time. Basically impossible. Mahawk them. If it weren't for Garp, Xianxi and the two who blocked it, and Dynamite Rock's delay. It can be predicted and avoided in advance, even if you can't avoid it. Under the joint efforts of people with top combat power. High probability, it can still be broken. Just look at him in Paluzolino before, lying like a white lady. All broken trends. One more person, it is estimated that it will be over. But, just in case, Rodan chose to open it. Read this. He looked down at the struggling two people. Since you are so urgent, then I will fulfill you. At the same time, the remnants of the 100 Beasts and the Big Mon pirates are facing the attacks of the white and red groups. They retreated steadily, and after Marineford was completely hit, Big Min's heart skipped a beat, feeling lost of purpose. Rodan just passed by. Maybe you will die directly in it. That too. What's the point of continuing to fight? Coupled with the growing hunger in the stomach. It's getting more and more unbearable. Read this. The Big Mon didn't hesitate any longer, and flew back to Queen Mother Songwang. With a wave of his hand, they quickly evacuated from here. Big Mon. Yan Huojin, who was seriously injured, clenched his fists when he saw this. Brother and eldest brother are dead, in his mind. Only decisiveness remains. Is this old woman still unreliable after all? Ma. You guys should block it for us. Big Mon laughed arrogantly, and the white group and the red group. I didn't even go after the Big Mom group. It's really not cost effective, and it doesn't make that much sense. Make every effort to encircle and suppress the remnants of the 100 Beasts. Significantly easier. Just as the Queen Mother singing was flying away from here, Big Mon was crazily eating dessert. A bright red shadow. Fly down. There was a bang. Thick slurry billowed out from the drop point on the sea ahead. A woman in a marine light red cloak slowly bowed from it and looked lightly at the Queen Mother singing. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Gulu. Gulu. Lava overflows from its body and turns into lava in liquid form. Over the sea. There was a burning sound of sea way, accompanied by white smoke rising from it. A heat wave is coming. On board. Holding a lollipop Parasparrow, he involuntarily took a step back. Mom. Big Mon, who was enjoying his meal, stopped his movements. What happened? Talking. Looking straight ahead. Now. Eyes full of crimson. This moment. Shish. A burst of lacing sound suddenly sounded, immediately afterwards. I saw giant fists of Red Lotus whizzing towards the Queen Mother singing and the two secondary ships of the entourage. Yes. Red Lotus fist. It didn't launch the stored power from above, and then fell straight down at the maximum speed. Instead, it flew directly in the form of a parabola. While improving the accuracy, the burst and penetration are still very strong. Is it Akainu's ability? Wait, did Marine come to encircle us? No, I got the news earlier. Akainu is dead. Look clearly, that figure. As clearly a woman, the one from the Rodan pirates. Damn, what shall we do? What are you panicking? Mom is here. The members of the Big Mon pirate group have not exclaimed for a long time. Children on board. There is no time to make corresponding preparations and responses in the future. A Red Lotus fist. Then unceremoniously bumped into the gorgeous ship of the singing. Boom, clatter. Lava holes appeared in the 3 ships in an instant. The magma splashed out of it. It even sprinkled 3 ships at once. It's so hot. Lava is spilled on me. Quick, don't just watch. Put it out, or the ship will sink. Damn it. I want to know why the Rodan pirates didn't die. Obviously under the blow of that kind of doomsday, they can't survive. Maybe he escaped early? Then shoot a fart. Damn Marine, why is it useless at all? What a waste. In the din of voices, Red Lotus lava broke into the back of the ship one by one. Like a firecracker, there was a series of explosions. Look from a distance. Like lotus flowers blooming in deserts. Accompanied by screams, bright, fascinating. The 3 generals of the Mother Group shot in time to reduce or block the blockage of the Red Lotus Fist as much as possible. After the successive battles, they were actually wounded. But now there is a crisis. They had no choice but to raise their voices again, cheering up to deal with it again. For a while. Glutinous rice, syrup, and cream are all about dessert capabilities. After wrapping the armored color, it turned into thick walls, desperately blocking the attack of the Red Lotus Fist. Boom boom boom, only. Not many face to face yet. The armed color quickly retreated and turned into several fistholes. It's about to break. Katakuri and the others are crazily exerting their abilities. Now. The second ship has been torn apart. Even the main ship has become a mess. It won't take long, and it will definitely fall into the footsteps of the 2 ships around me. Click, W, Big Dot Mon bites the last piece of chocolate cake. The huge figure stood up suddenly. This action. It also attracted the attention of the children. Mom. Are you full at last? Great, there is hope now. Ha ha ha, as long as Mom is here, everything will be fine. The Rodan pirates have been wiped out by Marine. There must not be much combat power left. It is not certain who will win. That's right, you dare to attack us like this, you really want to die. The children cheer each other on. Mom is here. They have enough confidence to win this battle. Take a step back and say, even if you lose. There are also Breeze mirror fruits. This is the way out. If it doesn't work, retreat in. There is no need to be afraid of so many. Rodan. You're looking for death. The big Mon regained his strength again. Also have confidence. Don't come by yourself. Send your subordinates to deal with my pirate group? Who is the old lady? The voice fell. Big Dot Mon took a lunge and stomped hard. He jumped into the sky. Shoot. The Red Lotus Fist that was constantly erupting below suddenly became weak, and then aimed at her tirelessly. Then, it roared out in waves, Thunderfire crit. Big Mon raised his hand violently. Zeus and Prometheus began to change their strength, and a large amount of flame and electrical winding were delivered to her fist. With the huge force on the match, just for an instant. He shattered several lava fists. The main ship is temporarily out of crisis. The eyes of the children below lit up, although my mother is usually cruel. Internally. A word of disagreement will take away the soul and lifespan of others at will. When cravings occur, even his son doesn't care. But externally, it can only reflect her strong strength Yamato mighty. When fighting, boost your morale to the max. Boom. Another magma fist shattered. Easy? No. Big Mon's arm-colored hardened hands were a little numb, and the progress of flying forward was not fast. Obviously not so easy. In fact, the most powerful thing about magma is not its high temperature. After all, it is about temperature. It is also about 1,000 degrees. What really makes people feel tricky and trembling is the strong pressure and super explosive power. Sakaski. The impact force of the simulated meteor volcano is not inferior to that of a real volcanic eruption. That's a real humanoid apocalypse. That is to say, Big Mon's tough body is hardened with top-notch weapons. The left and right hands hit each other before eating a few waves. Change someone. Even Vice Admiral. It was already smashed to pieces. Napoleon. Big Dot Mon is no longer aggressive, and he no longer has the mentality of underestimating the other party. One move. He clenched Napoleon and began to slash. Here. The efficiency is much faster. Boom. The purple-red slash swept across the area. That is. I don't know if it's because Napoleon is too fierce, or the Big Mon's Napoleon. Meteor Volcano's offensive is good. Getting weaker. Wait until the Big Dot Mon approaches. Totally gone. Call. Zeus carried the Big Mon, and flew to Saska's lava itself. His eyes were full of violence. Humph. You and your captain are so brave. Kill Shichibukai. Break into the headquarters. Kill the 4 emperors. It can be said. This is Big Dot Mon from birth to now. After the Rocks and Roger days. The fiercest pirate group I've ever seen. That's right. Even the rocks pirate where the mighty gather. It is estimated that it is difficult to compete. Certainly. The premise is that in the case of disunity, unite. Alright. At that time, everyone was harboring evil intentions, and there was basically no possibility of unity. The body of the Sakaski lava swelled. The corners of his mouth hooked up. Are you scared? Ma 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 ma, when has my mother been afraid? Big Mon couldn't stop laughing wildly when he heard the words. Although I admit that you can bring me a threat, but that was before fighting so far. I don't believe that you have no loss at all. Talking. Prometheus flourished above her head. It's like using the sun as a hat, coupled with a ferocious expression. Extremely scary. That's it. I don't know if I'm the lava sea you prepared. Are you satisfied with your most luxurious funeral? Sakaski said. Opened the giant arms of flowing lava. Whole body. It's lava and scorching. Let me send you as a pirate for the last time. Ma 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 ma. You are the only one. Where does the confidence come from? Or. Only the last one left. Big Mon held Napoleon in both hands and raised it up into the air. Pretending to hack. Even if this little girl is strong. So what? People. Always get tired. And behind her. But there is a whole pirate group. Although a lot has been lost, the real strength is still there. When Sakas heard this, G said lightly, that's not necessarily the case. The voice very low. So small. Big Mon almost ignored it. Big Mon's face suddenly changed. Uncertain? What's the meaning? Could it be? Are there any of them? So far. The two big pimples on her wrinkled face suddenly trembled heavily. And what happened next? Also as Sakaski said. I see. Above the sky. The flying boat engraved with the word, God, has already flown over the Queen Mother singing. That is it the airship of the Rodan pirates? Damn, even in that case. Still not dead? The members of Charlotte's family felt troubled. It's not generally tricky. After all, it is not as simple as piercing the hand, but it will pierce the heart of their Big Mon pirate group. Hey, that monster Thor isn't here. Charlotte Daifuku took a few steps back in panic. Now this situation. If come. He thought it was better for everyone to escape early. That rascal. But even Kaido, known as the strongest creature, was killed. Still single. Watch the pressure of the 2-4 emperors. So what else can be done? Perispero on the side is also in the same mood. Even him. More fearful of Rodan. If it wasn't for my mother, I would have instigated everyone to escape together. That fierce man. Whoever sees it trembles. Katakuri. He is not up there. Katakuri opened his eyes. As soon as the words came out. Before waiting for brothers and sisters to breathe a sigh of relief. In a word, it lifted everyone's hearts again. But above, there are still several hidden, and terrifying auras. Katakuri said solemnly. Above there seems to be something that blocks the breath. If he hadn't searched carefully with knowledge, he would have almost missed it. What? Could it be? Could it be those people? It's nothing, it must be nothing. They've been fighting Marine for so long, there's no way they won't lose any damage. That's right. Maybe. We can still take this opportunity to wipe them all out. You mean? Taking advantage of the fire. Don't say it's so ugly. No matter what you say, you must deal with it seriously. Since they dare to come, they must be prepared. HMPH, maybe you think we have lost a lot and are easy to bully? Then they are too naive, brothers don't need to waste. Everyone chatted. Although there is a deep worry, but after some mutual encouragement. Gained confidence again. Kotaku was not involved in their discussion of deployment. Suddenly. He frowned. Just then. A cold female voice suddenly sounded. Have you talked enough? It was almost the moment the sound sounded. Katakuri turned his head away. That location. It's the top of the cake tower on the Queen. A woman with a heavy blade on her back. Without anyone noticing, it appeared when no one had noticed it. She looked icy. Its body. It also exudes an extremely sharp sword aura. It's heartbreaking. That's Hawkeye. Is it the one that was published in the newspaper not long ago, who defeated the world's #1 swordsman, the female Hawkeye? The Saboti archipelago was live at the time, there must be no wrong. Just kidding. Why did Hawkeye lose to this? What are you worrying about? She must have been seriously injured in the battle with Hawkeye. Now she is holding on. Ha ha ha. It's ridiculous. Did she dare to come because she thought we were also seriously injured? Owen, Daifuku, Opera and others, forced to calm down. After all, it doesn't work if you don't pretend. If you show a look of fear in front of your younger siblings. The majesty of the brothers. Where? I'm afraid I haven't faced the enemy yet. Are you messing up on your own? Then it's over. Besides, although they have gone through repeated battles, but most, neither tried their best. Leave the real dirty work to the 100 beasts. After all, those guys ate artificial devil fruit. Always pretend to be strong? That's them. Do a good job. Also like this. Although the big Mon pirate group lost a lot of grassroots and low-end combat power. But a real strong man still have a certain limit of physical strength and combat power. Just a hot girl who isn't in her prime is pretty easy on them. After all, there are still so many people here. Here, the benefits of Big Mon having more children are highlighted in this way. Sudden, a burst of laughter interrupted their thoughts. She. Big Mon pirates, it's been a long time. Alliance with Kaido? If it wasn't for the captain, maybe they really succeeded. Everyone deserves to be killed. Yo. What a coincidence, you are all within range. Several voices resounded in every corner of the Queen Mother's singing number. It's like a magic sound. It made everyone in the Charlotte family dizzy. Take a closer look. It's Rodan who often appear in the newspapers. Actually, the battle with Marine. Their physical strength has been exhausted to a certain extent, not to mention the terrifying power that blocked the dynamite rock before. After doing all the tricks, it is indeed a waste of 7 or 8. But who are they before calling? They have all been famous in their respective worlds for a long time, and their strength is strong enough to sit on one side of the strong. Against a mere member of the Big Mon pirate group. How much time will it take? Will it be laborious? Even if Mihoko and others are not at their peak. Deal with these people. Still a breeze. It's the top executives of the Rodan pirates. All of them have come. We are finished. It's completely finished. Stupid brother. What are you panicking about? Maybe they're just putting on a show, trying to scare us into a mess. My stupid sister, don't comfort yourself. They are a bunch of monsters. A bunch of monsters that won't get hurt at all. That's right. Do you see that they are injured? Cheer up. They will definitely not let everyone go, and they will die of fat. The members of the Charlotte family suddenly became confused. In the past, although the cadres of the Rodan regiment appeared frequently and were published in newspapers. But everyone. All have doubts about the combat power and strength it describes. Not to New World. Everything is fictional compilation. But when people really wiped out one Shichibukai after another, they even directly killed Doflamingo, the most powerful of the Shichibukai forces. Kaido was also defeated. The world government has no way to take people after the bounties skyrocketed again. No one in the New World would dare to underestimate the Rodan regiment. Because of this, it's a solid record in New World. Slightly suspicious, go check it out. Also from then on. Everyone understands. Rodan. That's a real monster. This is not the place to fight. Bree. Katakuri glanced at his sister. The stupefied Bule heard the words and quickly reacted. Pull your hands. A ripple appeared in the void. This is. Mirror Fruit's ability is activated. Everyone. All go to Mirror World. Language fall. Everyone scrambled to get in. And the top-ranking brothers and sisters are responsible for blocking Mihuke and others. To protect the weak younger siblings, for a while. Their respective desert abilities turned into attacks and blasted up. And its gorgeousness. You want to stop us with a desert attack? It's just too whimsical, isn't it? Against us? Will it work? It's childish. The girls shook their heads. That loose expression and posture. Not only invincible, with a hint of disdain. The high-ranking members of the Charlotte family gritted their teeth. Always. They are the only ones who see others that way. When is it these people's turn? Retreat. I just don't want to accidentally injure my younger brothers and sisters in the next battle. It's not that I'm afraid, they are the Bigman pirates. These people. Even if you are confident, you are too confident. Okay, don't talk nonsense. Mihoko drew the knife quickly. Boom. Beep, crash, for a while. Messy limbs. Transparent thin line. Manic sandstorm. Dazzling flash. Fierce sword light. All kinds of gorgeous attacks, all mixed together. Then it fell continuously. Like the starlight in the sky, the highest treatment is offered to the Queen Mother's singing number. Ah, my arm. The body is broken. It hurts so much, brother save me. This is. The screams of family members who have not yet escaped into Bree's mirror world. Extremely dire. For a while. All kinds of distress calls sounded from the flames and the Queen Mother's singing horn. Carry out the sky. Pity. Katakuri, Owen and others were all caught in a hard fight. If you have more than enough heart but not enough strength, you have no time to take care of it. Instead, because of them, I was confused for a while. The number of flaws keeps increasing. The number of injuries is also increasing. Boom. The shirtless Katakuri was blown away. Falling into the sea in front of my eyes, he quickly covered his body with slices of rice cakes. That's what keeps you from falling into the water. Katakuri rolled his eyes. Quickly shouted to Biyulei, who was still supporting not far away. Go, you go in yourself. Leave us alone. How can this be done? Brother, you all have to come in. Bree yelled anxiously. At this time, call out. A flash flew by. It seemed to have penetrated straight into her mirror space. Just now. Is there something? Bree turned back mechanically. Katakuri's eyes were about to burst. Because he knows. Massacre. It's about to start. If I knew this earlier. Why did I do it in the first place? Mihoko's voice came faintly, accompanying. There is also an extremely dazzling wide chopping wave. This battle. No suspense from the start. No doubt. It will be a real disaster for these members of Big MNN. At the same time, it is a misjudgment of their own strength. 2. Misjudgment of the strength of Rodan Regiment cadres. Hey, it's almost here. This feeling is really intoxicating. Dover grabbed it with both hands. Cracker's chocolate shattered. The entity then flies backwards. As long as the big mons are eliminated, then this battle should come to an end. Crocodile threw a cloud of sandstorm. Dozens of people were swept away. Defuku, Owen. You two come to the mirror world to support. At this time, Katakuri's voice resounds. Horse. If you can do it all over again. Even if he risked his life, he would not let his mother. Bring the whole Bigman pirates and family members to participate in this encirclement and suppression plan. Pity. There is no if in the world, mirror world. It's huge here. The twisted and wavy corridors that can be seen everywhere seem to be like time and space tunnels. Stretches endlessly. You can't see the end at all. And here, there are also dense mirrors of different sizes. It will be very difficult for people with trypophobia. Also, except the mirror, it is the area paved with peony red. It looks extremely monotonous. At this time, embarrassed figures emerged from a certain huge mirror. People of all shapes and sizes bear the brunt of it. It was Perispero holding a lollipop and hanging his long tongue. He jumped out at the fastest speed. Some heart palpitations at the moment. Wheeze, after stepping on the solid corridor, Perispero is like a dead dog. Tongue out. With his hands on his knees, he was panting heavily. He looked up around and found no one there after. Stunned. He is the first? There was a sound of landing behind him. Suddenly it sounded. Impressively, other members of the family arrived. Brother Perispero, how did you come so fast? Wait, brother, how did you come in? Could it be? Did you have another plan when you came in? The siblings blinked. He looked at Perispero expectantly. They don't think so. Big brother will be greedy for life and afraid of death. The first person to hide in must have a plan. Cough cough. Perispero cleared his throat, blushed slightly and said, Peroros. As the eldest son, of course I have my plan to come in first. Don't just think that there are Katakuri and the others dragging it outside. In fact, the inside is the most important thing. Looked at the brothers and sisters. Please continue the look. He pretended to be serious and said, after all, if Rodan cadres sneak in. As an older brother, I will naturally protect everyone and eliminate hidden dangers. He said with his arms folded. Heart, it is disapproving. With Katakuri and so many of them dragging along, how could someone sneak in? So this is all. The Charlotte family nodded. Compared with brothers, their strength is indeed not enough. Seeing more and more wounded coming in. If people from the Rodan regiment break in, they will cause huge casualties. Read this. Call out. A flash of light flew from the mirror and gradually condensed into a figure. Yo. There are so many people. It's okay, a family needs to be neat and tidy. You. Perispero's eyes widened. Why did he just finish speaking? Did someone really come in? Katakuri, Owen and the others, do they have any strength at all? Can't even stop a person. Bree. Don't know how to close the mirror? What the hell are they eating? It's an intruder, a member of Rodan's regiment. I don't know who yelled. Everyone hid behind Perispero. Don't forget to praise him. Have a vision. As expected of a big brother, it seems that I have already guessed it. It really is. Brother Perispero, go up and deal with him. Why is the elder brother not moving? I'm not sure. Do you want everyone to come together? That's right, it must be very powerful to deal with strength, adults alone can't do it. The urging sounded. Parasparrow was sweating coldly on his forehead at this time. My heart is full of fear, but he can't be cowardly. In front of family members, absolutely not. Trembling, Parasparrow picked up the lollipop. My heart is hard. Quickly activate the ability. Paluzolino raised his index finger, and the light of the cross flickered wildly. Call out. At this time, the candy turns into a hard barrier and soars up. Very timely, but it doesn't seem to work. The laser light was only blocked for a while, and it broke through the candy wall. Shot straight into Parasparrow's chest, immediately afterwards. Like candied haws on a string. The members standing behind were all lasered through. Boom. The laser finally hit the mirror wall, and a strong shockwave broke out. This moment. It seems that the whole mirror world is trembling. And that's just the beginning. What follows is a relentless barrage of frantic strafing and explosions. Shine. Filled with mirror world. The super crushing of the top combat power. Here we go. A long time. When Owen came to reinforce. The mirror world is a mess, with rags and burning sparks everywhere. They froze. Miserable. The blood mist that can be seen everywhere makes several people's eyeballs bloodshot. This. How long has it been? Crunch, crack. The sound of gnashing teeth and touching fists sounded. Anger. Filled Owen's chests. Call out. Zate. A flash of light condensed in the distance. Yo, you are late. She raised the mirror with her hand. The clothes are not stained with blood, as if a trivial thing has been done. The smile is also very soft. The disobedient children have been cleaned up by me. You damn it. We'll make you pay. The third son Daifuku and the fourth son Owen stepped forward. The veins on his forehead popped out. Majin hunting. Hot slash. Dafu rubbed his body with his hands and soon summoned a lamp demon. Owen uses the ability of hot fruit. Apply heat to the broadsword, wrapping around the flames and slashing forward. What an impatient man. Paluzolino shook his head. Since you Big Mon pirates are here, you must be prepared. Everyone is an adult. Take responsibility for the actions you take. Now. Just when the family members of the Big Mon pirate group were dealt with unprecedentedly. The battle between Sakazuki and Bigman, it has also entered the white-hot stage. But the latter. Obviously not thinking too much. After all. Every moment. All her beloved sons and daughters died for it. So. The more you pay attention, also more anxious. With a roar, Big Mon slashed behind Sakazuki. I have to turn around and go back to support. Unexpectedly. The flying boat fell straight down at this moment. Prow. It was a figure very familiar to Big Mon. Whitebeard? No, it's impossible. Why aren't you dead yet, old man? Big Mon's fat face trembled. Even after she saw her face and figure clearly, she was slightly relieved. But in the heart, there has never been half a point of relaxation. In the color of knowledge, she on the arc. Like a fiery sun, it is extremely eye-catching. Cover up everything. Damn it. What the hell are you Rodan pirates doing? He roared out in deep puzzlement. Big Mon is going crazy. These guys. How many people are willing to simulate and copy after all? What? It's a pity. You can't see it. White Hu Niang jumped over. Unimaginable energy fluctuations erupted from this. Immediately afterwards, Big Mon still shouted at the beginning. The voice became lower and lower. It was completely silent. I do not know how long it has been. The entire Big Mon pirate group, together with the remnants of the Beast's pirates on the other side. They were completely silent. The sea, peaceful again. So far. The double emperor of the sea. A sealing powerhouse who once ruled half of New World. Buried in a different sea. Soon. The finished sons and daughters boarded the flying boat and drove above the red and white groups. Deputy of the Red Mission, Ben Beckman. He couldn't wait to yell out. Captain Rodan, I know you're up there. Could you come down and talk? His tone. It has eased a lot. The main thing is not to relax. He fought hard with all Naval Headquarters senior combatants and killed 4 emperors. Such an overlord pirate group. No one is afraid to change. History. Which pirate group is so fierce? Developed so fast? Not even the Rocks pirate in its heyday can compare. At this time, Bai Tuan also stared up. Ace and Pop are dead. Big revenge has to be reported. It's time for them to attend to the funeral and hold the funeral. But before that, don't you want to thank your benefactor first? After all, without Rodan and the others, the white group might be in danger. In addition, there is one more person, a woman. It also makes them very interested. The flying boat hovered over. The 3 pirate ships that currently represent the highest combat power at sea have gathered together. Then more. 2 people jumped out of the Ark Proverbs. 1 person landed on the Hongtuan boat. 1 person landed on the Beituan boat. 2 people. One after the other. The division of labor is very clear. It seems that I want to finish it early and don't want to stay any longer. This sea area is under the jurisdiction of the Marine and World Government, not far from the bombed Marineford. Now the staff is exhausted. The combat power is in a period of weakness. In case the World Government comes up with any crooked ideas, what is there to do? Although everyone is not afraid. After all, it's a little troublesome. One more thing is worse than one less thing, isn't it? Boom. Rodan jumped aboard the redhead's boat. Spreading his hands and laughing. I really didn't expect. Things will happen like this. We didn't expect that either. Beckman pondered. After we learned the purpose of the beast's pirates, we wanted to stop it first. It's just that I didn't expect that he would join the Big Mon pirates. The 2 groups join forces. They can't stop them at all, they can only pull the front line from a distance. After meeting Marco and Rodan, only by taking this approach. I just never thought about it. By accident, they originally wanted to quell the war. The captain was given a certain ability, not to mention. This is Rodan. Actually destroyed the Double Emperor? Fight off Marine. This is totally different than expected. Predictable. Soon. This incident does not need to be fermented, it will cause a sensation in the whole world. No, I think you misunderstood me. Rodan shook his head slightly. It's just that I didn't expect that I would kill Kaido and Big Mom so much earlier. The people in the red-haired group trembled when they heard this. This word. That's all he can say. Turn into someone else. They laughed. Actually, if it was before, they would laugh too. After all, the gap in strength lies there. But now that people have put it into action, it has really been killed. Cough cough. Beckman coughed, drawing everyone's attention back. Captain Rodan, you said it before. He pointed to Shanks leaning on the railing with a curious face. What? Rodan froze for a moment. We held you back, you should also fulfill your promise. Change the captain back. What changed? Back to a man. Beckman bit the bullet. This guy. Did you come here on purpose to let the pirates sniff out? Hey, what do you mean turning me back into a man? Shanks stepped on her slippers. Walking with smooth toes. I am a woman. Do you still want to forcibly turn me into a man? She smiles beautifully. You know that's not what I meant. Beckman covered his face and turned his head, trying not to look at his captain. Also, can you stop talking to me with this face? Or take off the captain's clothes? Beckman, I think it's a good captain to be like this. That's right. Of course, the premise is that she is really the captain himself. Several core crew members booed, but half an hour later, the people in the red group also calmed down. Just kidding. Heart. They definitely don't want their boss to be a woman. Let's not talk about the news. That's another story. First, I can't accept it in my heart. Are you kidding? The captain who has lived with everyone day and night for more than 10 years. Sudden. Gender change. I have to face it every day in the future, so who can bear it? I heard about it. Shanks didn't pay attention to anything else, but looked at Rodan seriously. You brought me here, right? Beckman also interjected. Captain Rodan, I think you are a man of your word. Of course I won't lie. Rodan shrugged. Otherwise, I'll just leave. Why not come down and talk to you? And you? Still not going back. At that time, what I said seemed to be thinking about it. Rodan shook his head and smiled. First of all, I'm sorry. Shanks can't be exchanged for the time being. Be honest. It's all done by the replacer, it's all a permanent swap. He can't help it either. What? Beckman frowned, and grabbed the handle on the corset. Can't you go back? Shanks folded his arms around his chest. Just. She also listened to something about the world. Learned a lot. In addition to sexual transfer. This world is at least 90% similar to the world she lives in. Nothing more. That is, the timeline is in the future. She believed it. Because these people in the clothes of their own crew talk about the past without flaws, also talked about the future. Jammed his arm on Luffy himself, blah blah blah. Let her think for a long time, and the ship Red Force. She took a tour. Very similar, but not quite the same. Trims and muzzles, and all aspects of the cabin. It's an upgraded version of the previous one. Improved and strengthened a lot. Just ask. What ability can do such a thing in an instant? Before. Someone told her that there is a godlike parallel world. Shanks will definitely think that the other party is daydreaming, and now she suspects that she is daydreaming. This is not a dream. Rodan saw what she was thinking. Of course, you guys helped me hold back the big mon. Anyway. You helped me too. Hear this. Beckman frowned. The Red Regiment cadres behind them also held their breath. Is this a play? If you can. They definitely don't want any conflict with the Rodan pirates. Even if they have just experienced a series of battles. The strength will definitely slip, but they still have the confidence to do it more or less. After all, the Big Mon pirate group has just been wiped out. The example is still there. Well, if there is a way to change it back, I will come to you as soon as possible. Rodan put his hands in his pockets and looked at Usopp and the others. As for now, as you said, it would be nice to have a beautiful captain, isn't it? Hey, we were just joking. It's outrageous to let a woman be the captain. That's right, absolutely not. The red-haired group quickly waved their hands. This has to get out. Can't hide it at all. Appearances dressing up. But what if the captain of his own ship is dangling around with a pair of oranges? Tied up? The key is not to be restrained. It's time to show up. It was not a person's face that was lost. Their whole faces. I really misjudged you, Usopp, Laji Lu, Deeg. Shanks looked over one by one, and shook her head. In a way, excluding the factors of the world. I am your captain. Is it embarrassing to change gender? Talking. She straightened up, showing a little tiger's cheeks. Well, someone had a nosebleed. Good guy. To know the captain will have today. No matter what they said, they had to invite a painter over. Shanks refrained a bit. Also, women can accomplish more things and be more free, right? It's still hard for me to understand that it's actually you men who came out to make a living. The women here are too outrageous, throughout the ages. Who can accomplish great things is not a woman. One Piece is. So are the high five of the world government. This all explains. Woman. You have to be better than men. You have to take on more responsibilities. The cadres of the Red League looked at each other in blank dismay. I don't know what to say. Boss, didn't you explain it before? We didn't mean that. We are a male-dominated world here. Yeah, besides, we don't despise you. As a woman, hey, it's too late for us to love you. As the captain, you are not only the front but also the leader, your flamboyance. Women will come here often, right? You said that if we have something important to do, boss. Listening to the panicked tone of the brothers across the world. Shanks carried them on their backs. Almost laughed out loud. It was the first time she had seen these guys look so embarrassed. Want to leave yourself? Read this. Her red lips curled up and she said suddenly, but, I think this world is quite interesting, and it would be nice to stay for a while. Ah? You have to think about it. Laji Lu and the others turned dark. This girl. Do you really want to stay here? Between a man and a man, if they are close, they can be said to be good brothers. This is nothing, but she is such a woman. If everyone gets close to her, then it's not buddies. Have a banquet. Everyone lay down with their chest muscles exposed, and began to drink boldly. Steen. Do you also follow? How formal is this? And there was a male crew member who was drunk again and did bad things to the captain. Alright. That's nothing to worry about. Through the previous battles, they were convinced of Shanks' strength. Can single out Big Mon. The strength is still so strong, and I'm not afraid of others doing bad things. Don't be afraid of 10,000, or just in case, you guys. Shanks looked back and smiled. I was just joking just now. This smile. The people in the red group were stunned. When Redhead was a man, people didn't pay much attention to his appearance. After all, everyone is a man, who cares about that stuff? Did not expect. After the captain of another world turns into a woman. Would be so nice. Cough cough. If it is not constrained by the conscience and friendship in their hearts, they are afraid that they will really have bad thoughts. Shanks restrained her smile, turned her head and looked aside. Mr. Rodan, I think we should have a good chat. Can defeat the double emperor, and brought her here. All of these, it all looks so incredible. But it all happened. Source, it's all on this mysterious man. Rodan listened to her crunchy voice, pondered for a moment and then smiled. Then come to my boat to chat. He had thought of refusing to come, but. Think about it. Bring people over. Now he patted his ass and left. Wouldn't that be too irresponsible? Chat for a while. It's okay. In addition. Except redheads. The structure of 4 emperors is basically gone. So is Shichibukai. New World is expected to have another storm. And in the current situation where Marine's vitality is seriously injured. For some forces, it's actually an opportunity. For example, the Revolutionary Army and the like. Speaking up. Rodan also had plans. He is going to take some time to integrate the forces of the collapse of the New World. Attack the world government. Or annihilate the world government controlled by the celestial dragons. Change the ruler. In the face of unknown forces, he alone is alone. Still not enough. Even if it is really done at that time, you have to consider the next thing. At that time, just rely on a few people. How is it possible to manage the 4 Cs plus Grand Line? The world is in chaos. So what if he fights down? It's just creating more chaos. You have to form your own forces. I went up first. Z arc flickers. Rodan disappeared in place. Red group of people. He turned his attention to Shanks. Beckman frowned. Let me go with you. Why, you still worry about me? Shanks shook his head slightly. Worried about it? This word. Do not know why. Obviously sounds normal. But when it comes to Shanks being a woman, Beckman always feels a little awkward. The other side. The one going to Beethoven's boat is Baihuniang. This was also arranged by Rodan. After all, they don't belong to the same world, so what should be done? Still needs to be done. Now. Gur, sitting cross-legged on the deck, Bai Hu Niang drank the bowl of wine in her hand and laughed boldly. It still tastes the same. She recalled the past. I used to have family and pirates, just like your father had you. Talking. Seeing that everyone was motionless, they bowed their heads and lowered their eyebrows. She smiled sassily. Wine. If only my mother drinks it alone, it will be very boring. Aside been through battle. At this moment, the people in the white group, who were all dirty, felt their noses ache when they heard this. There was a trace of reluctance in his eyes. Drank the wine. Marco, Vista and the others remained silent. White Hu Niang saw this. Her red lips curled into a crescent moon beard. Don't you talk? I never had a bunch of dumb sons. Gu la la la. Everyone heard the words. They all laughed too. Only. Laughing and suddenly crying again. Why are you crying? It's really useless. You guy, aren't you also biting your lip and enduring it? What a shame. The stagnant atmosphere of the Beituan people gradually became active. It is different from the pushing and shoving of the red group. The people of Beituan have already lost their father once. And this time lost. Only then do we know what cherishing is. They hope. The woman in front of me can stay. Even admitting a mother is fine, because of everyone. I really think of her as an elder like dad. They also hope. Time goes by more slowly. The time to meet across space does not pass so fast. Okay, you still have a lot of things to deal with. I won't delay you. Bai Hu Niang shook her head, got up and walked to the bow alone. Are you leaving? Would you not stay a little longer? You call suddenly. A gust of evening wind blew up White Hu Niang's cloak. She turned her back to everyone. He looked towards the sea, which was gradually darkening. You have a long way to go in life, and you have your own way. She tilted her head slightly. After showing a slight smile, he jumped straight to the top. The captain's behind. By this time tears were streaming down my face. Marco couldn't help but jumped onto the bow of the ship, facing the violent sea wind and shouting. Everyone. Is there still a chance to see you again? Boom. Maybe. Bai Huniang jumped onto the flying boat and said something in a low voice. At this time. Hey, can you develop them into members of the banner? Dover walked over with a smile. It's also Whitebeard's crew, isn't it? It's a little combat power. You really have an idea. Baki smiled and gave her a white look. At this time. Boom. Another muffled sound interrupted the conversation of several people. You are. Shanks. Buggy. Why are you here? The two girls froze for a moment. Now, below. After seeing Shanks go up, Hongtuan inexplicably felt that something was missing. It's okay, it's not like I won't come down. Haha, yes, maybe it will change back after coming down? Everyone laughed. But soon, I couldn't laugh anymore. Because the flying boat flew away in a few seconds when Shanks landed. That's right. Just fly away. Together with Shanks, it's like being kidnapped. Just blink of an eye. It disappeared without a trace. Beckman was dumbfounded. This is. What the hell? Boss was kidnapped. Are you kidding? Why did you leave as soon as you got up? Is it the fake boss? It's unreasonable. It's really unreasonable, so our truth is bigger. Didn't you say in another world? Who would believe such nonsense? Maybe it was hypnosis, and I only remember the past. After all, it can be compared. Now the boss is a daughter, on the ship of the Rodan pirates, if. Shut up, don't talk. Hurry up, speed up in that direction. A group of people roared. Someone directed the ship to drive to the place where the airship disappeared. What's the use? The flying man has long since disappeared, let alone whether he can catch up. Just that speed. It's so frustrating.